Don't forget to click that subscribe and bell icon to receive a notification each time I upload a new video. Hi everyone, it's Thursday. I think it's, what date is it? It was the 8th of August today. It's just after lunch. I've just had a little spot to eat. So I've come upstairs because the house is very, very quiet. Ian's away for the day. He's gone across to Manchester. So he won't be back until later on this afternoon. Mr. Bentley is very quiet and curled up on the couch, snoozing. So I've got a couple of hours to play. So what I thought I would do today is I would create a double page spread from my new bag-sized no-sew journal that I created last week sometime. So what I'll do is I'll switch over to my overhead camera and explain what I've got in my head and see if I can try and translate that to the page. So I'll just switch over and then we'll have a little chat. Okay, so this is one of those double pages that I created for my little journal. So that was the first page that I did last week with it, but that was a single page. And that's the other half of that single page, that double that I just cut in half. So the rest is made up of doubles, which I've taken out. So it's got a bit dirty at that side, which is fine, because I've got two sides to play with. But for a change today, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to work on both sides. So I'm actually going to do a double page spread, if that makes sense. So, but what I'm also going to do is I'm going to throw practically everything that I've got at this page. And by that I mean I'm going to cover it in paint, I'm going to scrape, I'm going to stamp, I'm going to stencil, I'm going to add washi tape, I'm going to add book text, I'm going to put some focal points in there, there'll be, you name it. I'm going to try and put loads of stuff in this double page spread, because when it goes back into my journal it will be like that, but there'll also be that side, but there'll also be that bit too. So it'll be like a mini booklet art journal page, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to jump in and get started. That was the idea, but I haven't particularly got an idea of how I want the page to look in the end. I know. So I'm just going to grab some colours to start off with. So my colour palette for this is going to be, I've got my blues and greens and greys, if you like, for my Americana paints, but I've also got out my warm colours as well. So in there's reds, yellows and pinks and purple, which obviously is a crossover between the two. So I'm just going to grab paint as and when I feel like they should be going down on there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with some darker colours first. So let's just grab what we've got here. So this is Williamsburg Blue, and I don't think I've ever used this one before. It looks like I have used it before, which is fine. So I'm going to put a little bit down onto the mat, and for a change I'm going to use a braid. And to start building up colour, start off with a little bit dark, just flip that round, and of course while that's still a little bit wet I'm just going to flip it over. Mr. Bentley downstairs, he spotted a doggy through the window. See that mark on the page? One foul swoop and it's gone. I'll just flick that back over again. So there's going to be a lot of cleaning up and tidying between layers, because obviously I don't want to transfer this as much as I can. And of course plenty plenty of drying time. Okay, the Williamsburg blue is dry. That was that one. A nice kind of grey blue. And I've also now got Desert Cactus, which is, again, it's a green colour this time, but again it's an off kind of greyish green. And as you can see, I've never used it before, so give it a shake just in case the binder has separated a little bit from the colour. Lovely. And then just add some of that onto the mat. And yes, I did clean the brayer before starting on this next layer. So like I said, I'm going to throw lots of colour, as much as I can. I'm going to do the same thing again on the other side. I'm not following any particular plan, I'm just going by kind of instinct. Oh, and before I forget, I haven't gessoed the page. So the paint is pretty much going straight onto the cardstock, and there's no, no gesso on there at all. So it's just going to soak straight into the page, which is what I wanted. So I'll just give this a quick wipe over and clean up, just using a baby wipe. And then quickly wipe off the excess paint. And just give it a wipe down. So that's all I'm really going to do between colour layers, is that. So this time let's go a little bit more turquoisey, so peacock teal. There we go. Let's start on the back this time, or the front, depending on which way it'll end up going. Oh, look at that colour. Beautiful. Some of that over the top of the green as well. Perfect, and turn that over. Let's start building that colour up. So in my mind's eye, there will be no white left showing at all. That's the idea that I've got in my head. So, okay, so again, I'll get this dried off, get that cleaned up, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so we've got 3 colours on there now, so I want to introduce a fourth, so I want something a little bit warmer. So this time I'm going to introduce a little bit of ochre. So I have used this one before, so add some of that colour onto the mat. Again, I've already cleaned off my brayer, so let's get some of that in there. starting to fill in those areas, also going over the top of some, so build up the layers of the colour, flip it over, and let's do the same thing again, particularly aiming for the areas where there's not a lot of colour. So catching the edges. Maybe a little bit more. Flip that round. Cool. Again, get that dried off, and I'll be right back. Dried off, cleaned off. Okay, so the ochre is now dry and cleaned up. I've put the brayer away now. I'm not going to be using that anymore. So now I'm going to employ a different tactic, and I've got what's this, honey brown, so a little bit darker, and again I haven't used this one before. This is still an unopened colour. I'm surprised I've still got any of these unopened ones left. So I'm going to pop a little bit of that honey brown I know. Okay, a little bit of that honey brown, and this time I'm going to just take my finger and just start adding in a little bit of that paint into those areas now where there isn't, or there's still some white. So just rubbing gently. I'm going to go over the whole of the background, just to fill it in. Just gently rubbing, filling in some of them spaces. I'm going to fill all of them in though. There we go. And then flip that over. I want to leave some space for some other colour. Okay, so this is going to take me a little bit of time. So I shall probably, in the editing, put this on to fast forward. Play a little bit of music, and then I'll join with you once I've blended in a little bit more of this. Okay, so I've still got a little bit of that honey brown there. I'm not going to add any more. Just quickly give that a wipe over. It's drying almost instantaneously. As soon as I'm adding it to the page and rubbing it with my finger, it's draining, it's soaking in. So the work time on it is very, very low. So what I want to do now again is bring back that Williamsburg blue and add some more of that from the background now into that foreground. I think that side is nearly all but done. Okay, let's bring that green in again. Let's see if we can do the same with that. Again, build up the layers. Okay, so that's the green, and then back in with that peacock teal. I've got the opportunity to bring the ochre back in. Okay, I think that is going to be enough. So I'll get that dried off, cleaned up, try to get all the paint off my fingers, and I'll be back before you know it. Okay, so we now have our double page spread. So what I want to do now is to introduce some graphical elements into this. So I've just found on my worktop a roll of washi tape. So I'm going to just add a couple of pieces of washi tape into there. I'll do the same thing at this side. Ooh. That's the right way up, I think. And then I'm going to turn that over and then do some more. This time I'm going to go that way. Okay, and I've also got some book text. So I'm just going to tear up some pieces of book text. I've got some matte medium. This is from Indigo Blue. This is their matte Slap It On. And I've got a brush. So I'm going to add, there we go, just give me a second, that's my telephone ringing. My apologies for that. That was the lady that does our business accounts. It's like she needed to talk to me. So I've just done a couple of small areas where I'm adding in a little bit of book text. So this is an old page from an old dictionary. So I'm just going to do a couple of bits of these. Then I'll flip it over and then do the same again on the other side. Let's put a bit more of that matte medium down. And we'll do, again, piece towards the top. Now see, just kind of hold it and layer it. There we go. Right towards the edge, so it's at the page edge. Actually, I think I'm going to add one more piece. Just here in the middle. Just on that crease line. That should do it. Right, I'll give that a quick blast just to get it dry, and then I'll flip it over and add some more of that book text on the other side as well. Okay, so that's now all dry, so I'm just going to flip it over and add some more on this. I'm just going to put a little piece underneath that ring hole. That's where the book rings go through the sheet. And I'm going to do another piece down here towards the bottom. Again, just line it up with the edge of the paper. And then let's take another piece, this time a long thin piece. And I'm going to put that just over a bit of washi tape there. Just like that. And then one more bit, I think. Bigger bit. Up towards the top up here. Okay, so we've got 2 bits on there, 2 bits on there. Do I want some more? I think I do. I won't mind a little bit just on top of that washi tape up there. Just a little bit up here. Just go over that washi tape just to make sure it binds down and stays put. Okay, I think we're getting there. So I'll get that dried off and be right back. Okay. So that's all dry. So I'm going to start introducing a little bit of stenciling now into this. So I've got my Carnival 1 stencil, and I've got some Deco Art light buttermilk. So not white, so just off-white. And I'm just going to add a little bit down at the bottom, just onto my craft mat, I should say. And I have a cosmetic sponge. But I'm just going to load up, push the paint into the sponge, like so, and then I'm going to just lay it. I'm going to do a little bit heavier towards the top, but lighter as I come down the page here. Just a lighter touch towards the bottom, and then lift that off. And I'm going to just move the stencil over to this side. I'm going to do a little bit here. Again, just work that paint in. And just gently pat. Obviously, I'm not tapping down too hard. The harder you tap down, the more paint will transfer through the stencil. So that's why I'm going quite gently. Just light motions. There. And then I'm going to do another bit just over this side. Just nice and light dabs. Pick up a little bit more paint. That's it. And just bring that one down to this side, heavier in the middle there, and then I get a little bit of residue going into the next two shapes at either side, which is a bit more softer and diffused, which is cool. I like that. I'm going to flip it over and do a similar sort of thing on this side, but I'm going to go down here on this one. Towards the top there. Like so. And then again I'm going to go into the middle. Bit more robust this time. A bit heavier, push down a little bit harder, and then lighter still. And then to finish I'm going to do some just up here in this section there. A little bit lighter, heavier I think, so that the paint is a little bit more opaque just on that section, and then just diffuse it out towards the ends. Yeah. Cool. So I shall get that dried off. Okay, so that's dry. So I've got one of my Tim Holtz paper dolls. So I'm going to just grab a little bit of glue. So on the inside right hand page, I'm going to add him, or add some glue to the back. So just go on the outer edges, a little bit on the doggy's legs, on his feet. Just add a little bit of glue in the middle, just to make sure it's going to bind and hold. and then flip that over, and I'm going to drop him down about there. And of course this is craft glue, it's PVA, so it will dry clear anyway. I just need to put a little bit of pressure on it just to hold it down. And of course it has got that shine because it's got a laminate on it, which I don't particularly like. So what I'm going to do is I'm also going to go over the top with a little bit of matte medium. Come on, there we go. Just grab the brush, and what that will do is it'll take off the shine. So I could go over with clear gesso, which would do exactly the same thing. That's it. And that will help just to bind it in place as well. So let me just quickly give it a quick blast. So that should, in theory now, have eliminated that shine. Right, it's not gone completely. So I may have to just add some of that clear gesso a bit later on. Adding matte medium over the top of a laminate obviously is not the best, not an immediate thing. So I'd have thought it would have got rid of more of that shine than it actually has, but there you go, you live and you learn. Okay, so the next bit is I want to add in some journaling. So I've got one of the stamp sets, so the Journal Words 1 stamp set, the new stamp set. So I'm going to use Journey and Destination. So I'm going to take both of those. There we go. And I'm going to put Journey on this one. I think there, but what I want to do is I want to actually do it onto some book text. So I'll probably need a little bit of white gesso. First of all, I'll just clean my brush off. See, as you start to work on these projects or on your pages, you get one kind of like decision sparks an idea. And that's how your art journal pages kind of start to grow organically, because you start doing one thing and that will give you an idea to do something else and to add something else, or you'll see a shape or a colour combination that will give you an idea to add something else, and one idea leads to another, which is absolutely fantastic. It's an organic process. I'm not going too heavy with the gesso. I just want a little bit so that I can stamp on here. You'll be able to see the words better, but you'll still also be able to see a hint or a suggestion of what's underneath. Now, because we've already added book text fragments onto the page, it will blend or coordinate in together. He says, fingers crossed, hopefully. Right, so I need that drying. Any links. And somewhere he says, there's a stamp press. But what did I do with it? Not multitasking. Who says blokes can't? Okay, so I've got the word block at the bottom, and I've got it in its entirety because you can cut them to make larger or smaller blocks if you need to, but the actual words fit inside every single one. Excuse me. Every single one of the words in the set fits inside the block, so you don't really need to. But if you wanted a smaller one for the smallest, like smaller words, then you can adjust it if you want to. So, excuse me. For some reason, I've suddenly got a frog in my throat. Probably telling me it's time for coffee. Right, so I'm going to grab, let's have vintage photo. And let's ink up the block. Now, because I've added gesso to the page is now not going to be as absorbent as it would have been without it. So I may have to do this a couple of times, which is the reason why I'm using the stamp press. Do it 2 or 3 times to get the darkness. Like so. And then I'm going to grab the word destination. I'm going to lay that in the middle. It's pretty much where it needs to go. And then do the same thing. See, at this point, if you wanted to, you could change the colour. So you could use a different coloured ink. But I'm keeping them the same. Maybe go a little bit darker. That's the ground espresso. So I've used vintage photo and then just done a quick dab down with that. So next word is going to be, we said journey. So again, grab the vintage photo. Stamp down a couple of times. Okay, let's get rid of that now and then get the word journey. Make sure we've got it the right way around. And then drop that into the middle. Just over to the right slightly, I think. You'll see why in a little while. Actually, let's move it over to the right a bit further there. This is another bonus for having those blocks and the smaller words. Let's just go straight in with the ground espresso, I think. That should do. Okay, put those stamps to one side. Get rid of the stamp press. And because I've stamped onto the gesso, it won't soak in, so that you will need to give it a little bit of drying time. So I'll give it a quick blast with a heat gun just to make sure that it's all dry. I'm not going to smudge it. So I'll do that and then I'll be right back. Okay, so it's had a couple of minutes to dry, so I'm now just going to trim those words out, just cut them down a little bit, make them a bit more easier to manage, and then I can spend a little bit more time just cutting them out a bit closer. I'm not going to cut right up to the box because I want a little bit of that border showing. I know I'm a little bit biased with these stamps, but I think they're, you know, great to be able to use. I don't know why I didn't think of them sooner. It's another warm day today, so I've got the windows open. So every single noise from outside, children playing, people mowing lawns, the workmen are back on the site because they still haven't finished doing all the roads and that kind of thing, so we're getting quite a bit of noise still, where they're laying block paving, like cobble paving. All good stuff. Right, so destination. Yeah, let's put that one there. So it's going over the top. So again, let's use, actually, no, let me just stick this down first of all with ordinary glue. So that was me being a bit of a coward. I thought I'll just stick it down straight away with matte medium, and then I thought, oh no, because I'm not really sure or 100% confident that the matte medium is going to work with that archival ink, which it should, but you never know, do you? The combination of the archival ink on top of the gesso with the matte medium. Yeah, I know. It should, but you never know. You never know. Okay, so I'm now going to flip that over, and this time I've got this image from the Tim Holtz paper dolls, and then the word journey. And the reason that I did it to one side is so that I can do that. Position it so it looks as though he's got his hand resting over the top. Like that. Yeah, be likey. So I'm going to have to try and do this in 2 stages. Stick that half down first, but leave a little bit of a gap at the top so I can feed his hand underneath, and then just audition him on the page so it's around the rings, and I can work out that it's just about there. And then just move in. Just wipe that off quick, and then I can grab some glue. That should do me. So pop him about there, and just remember to hook his hand underneath. Drop him down. like so. So we've now got that on the front, and then when we open it up, we've got that. And then of course, nothing on that side. So a double page spread. So I just need to make sure that that's going to be stuck down. So maybe just have to put a little bit of weight on that for a minute or two. So I'll let that sit and dry. Then I'll be back in a minute when I've had a chance of a bit of a tidy. Okay, so they're pretty much dry now. So I just want to add a little bit more to the page. So I've got a pot here of black gesso from Indigo Blue, white gesso from Indigo Blue. I've got a little pen lid, and I'm just going to dip it into the black gesso, and I'm just going to add a few little circles to this page, just for a little bit more kind of interest. On that side, and then I've got a larger circle that I'm going to do just over the top. Like so. And then just bring that down. Almost like it's bubbles, but I'm just going to do it down that side and then leave that exactly as is. I need to get that dry, then I can flip it over and do the other side. Okay, so they're all now nice and dry, so I'm just going to flip that over and do the same thing again. Just move those bits of paint out of the way. So this time I'll do that, and then I'll do a few just coming down the page at this side. That should do it for that one, and then the white and again at this side. One more there. Maybe just one more there. Not quite white enough there. Let's just see if we can just catch that one again. Yeah, like those. Let's get those lids on. Put those to one side. Put those away. Let's quickly just dry that up. Get that dried off, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so that's now completely dry. The front's now dry, the inside's now dry, and I'm happy with the way it's starting to look. Okay, so I want to add one more little character, so I've got another one of those Tim Holtzy paper dolls. This one's a little bit smaller, so I'm just going to add a little bit of glue onto him. Flip him over, and he's going to go on here. So I'm going to sit him just on that edge of that book text, just there. Just twist him a little bit, that's better. And that's Ian ringing me now, so back in a minute. So that was Ian just letting me know that he's on his way home. So he'll be home in about an hour or so, which is cool. That gives me time just to finish this off and take Mr. Bentley out for a WALK before he gets back. So, final character is sat. So we now have the front, we now have the inside, and of course we've got the back. So it's kind of like a mini pamphlet, double page spread, like it. So what I want to try and do is just on the inside here, where I've got a little bit of a journaling space, is just write a little bit. I'm not going to write too large. I'm hoping that the pen is going to stay with me. I've got 3 just in case, because these things have a tendency to stop working after a short period of time. So I'm going to just write in here. I'm going to just put just fairly smallish writing. So that held up. So sometimes it's good to start a journey without knowing your final destination. A bit like today's art journal page. Cool, I like that. Like I said before, wasn't really sure where it was going until you get halfway through. So I'm just going to sign it down here and date it 7th of August 2019, and that I think is going to be my little, my little art journal page for the day. So my double page spread. So I hope you've enjoyed that. If you have, please remember to give it a thumbs up, share the video with your friends, and if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel already, you can do so by clicking the button at the end of the video. So that's all from me for now. I just need to add this now onto the inside of my art journal. And there we go. All done. Bye for now. I'd like to say a huge thank you to all of my angels, because without you, these videos would not be possible. Thank you.